And it's go time. Welcome, everybody. Thank you so much for joining us on this live nuts and bolts training where entrepreneurs are in action together, learning how to master the skills of building organizations and teams globally. Today, I want to talk a little bit about how to reach out to people on a global level so that you can spread your wings beyond your neighborhood. I've often heard it said back in the days that, always build in your own backyard first, so to speak, because that's where you have the most credibility, which is true to a point, but it's not as true as it was maybe, 25, 30 years ago, which is when that kind of stuff was really being taught. Today, with the internet at our fingertips, I think it would be crazy to limit yourself to only the people that you know, all right? Although that's a great place to certainly get the word out initially, and you might best response, and sometimes you might. Look, here's one thing that we all know: not everyone you speak to is going to say yes to what you have to offer. That's a given, all right? However great your product is, however phenomenal your service is, however incredible your opportunity is, when you share it, if your experience is anything like mine, even today, 28 years later, then sometimes the people you love the most, the people you care about the most, the people that mean the most to you are the last to understand what you're talking about, if ever they understand what you're talking about. But our job is not to convert, convince, talk them into stuff. Our job is to let them know that, hey, here's what I'm up to. If ever any of that resonates with you, you know where I am. So we speak to the people we know, like, trust, care about, and mean the most to us. We speak to them about our business, about our direction, about our dreams, what we're about to do, what we're embarking on, the journey we're embarking on. But it's not to get them in, but more to let them know, all right? And if along that way it resonates with a few, count yourself mega blessed, as I do. I'm mega blessed because a couple of my family always just say yes when I say stuff. And about 95% of them never say yes, regardless of how successful I've been, how well I've done, whatever it might be. It doesn't matter. They will just not do what I'm doing. It's almost like their mission is to make sure they don't do whatever I'm doing, however good it is, just to prove some kind of a point to themselves. One day they'll figure that out, I'm sure, whatever that point is, but they're certainly proving it. So everyone's experience is going to be different. Some of your family members and loved ones will be really supportive and say yes, and even build with you. Some may say yes and just be customers, users of your service. And the vast majority, if it's, if international averages are anything to go by, will not even hear what you're trying to say. That's fine. But then what? All right. So we always approach the ones we know. But then thank goodness that we've got the internet. Thank goodness for social media. Thank goodness for platforms like LinkedIn or Facebook or WhatsApp or Telegram, or even more modern these days, things like Instagram, Snapchat, Telegram, whichever ones are in your age group and on your radar and most appropriate to your circle of influence. Use them, use the technology, all right? It's really, really powerful and easy to say hi and share an opportunity with a stranger because you didn't know them before and you may never know them again. But if there is a connection in between that somewhere along the way, happy days, all right? So the rejection that everybody fears, that feeling of being rejected, you're going to feel it most with people you are closest to, and you're going to feel it least with people you are furthest away from in terms of relatedness, in terms of connection, and as far as taking things personally. If a stranger calls you a name, you will forget about it much more quickly than if your husband, wife, son, daughter, parents, next door neighbor, best friend, work colleague calls you a name. That stuff sticks. Number one, it stings a lot more, and the sting hangs around for a lot longer. So just knowing that, right? So what I say about social media, it is the best invention for network marketers ever, because it means we have infinite amount of practice. Back in my days, we didn't have that. If you had 100 people on your list, which is what we were encouraged to do, build a list of 100 people, that was your whole world. If you had a list of 100 people, they're all the people that you ever knew. So we were told to write down an immediate family, and then we were told to write down, who do you buy your milk from? Who delivers the papers? Who delivers the post? Speak to the supermarket person. It was like that, right? You have to speak to the petrol station guy that you see every week. And so this was your entire global network that you were then going to expose your opportunity to and get judged by and rejected and sometimes accepted in all of the different experiences. But now, guess what? You can build your rejection-proof mindset by the bucket load. Social media has got over 1 billion people at your fingertips that are ready and waiting for you to practice with them how to become a better entrepreneur. Bang. That's what you call a win-win environment. You can literally go through any of those platforms, type in some keywords like entrepreneur or network marketing or opportunity, whatever it might be, whatever words come to your mind that are related to what you're doing, cryptocurrency or blockchain, whatever it is. And you will get a list so long that if you called or reached out to every single person, you'd probably spend the rest of your life and still never get through that list. Do you know what I mean? Like, that's how available your network is today. There is no 100. Now it's thousands. All right. They say that, and I still can't believe this, but somebody's worked it out, and they said the average person on Facebook has 400 friends. The average person has 400 friends. Like, when I think about that, that's minute compared to people that are online. Like, if I go through all of my connections online, there might be literally a couple of dozen out of the thousands of connections I have. There might be a handful that have 400 friends. Most of them have got 1,000, 2,000, 3,000, 4,000 friends. So it goes into the thousands. So that means that everybody knows hundreds as an average, or thousands if you're in the world of entrepreneurship. So it's unlimited supply of contacts. And that's the raw material of everything. If you look at the ingredients, our ingredients in network marketing, once you've found a vehicle that you love, the next ingredients is people. And it's never been easier to connect with people than it is today, in this day and age, with the technology and the tools that are available. So use them, all right? Use them. You do not have to be an internet marketing genius to use those contacts. I'm not. Anyone that knows me well knows that I'm the least technologically capable person on the planet. But what I am is very capable at reaching out, building rapport, saying hi, building a connection, getting related, having conversations with complete strangers if we're best friends, feeling completely comfortable, making them feel completely comfortable, and speaking like real humans. I have no issues having real conversations with real people anywhere in the world, any time of the day or night. So this is what I mean by you have unlimited supply of contacts to practice, and practice rapport building, connection building, dream building, and business building. All right. And the beautiful thing is, and this is why I love network marketing, the beautiful thing is it doesn't take many. Just doesn't. 3 or 4 good people around you that are ready to run with you, empires are built. And literally 3 or 4 solid people that get you, that get the industry and choose to lock arms with you and make a run with you, can transform your life permanently. So here's the question. How many people, how many unknown people, new people, are you willing to reach out to build your empire with those 3 or 4 that you don't know yet? How many people are you willing to speak to? How many conversations, how many connections, how many messages are you willing to send, etc.? That's all it boils down to. And there'll be loads of stuff in your mind about that, I'm sure, right? Because if it was as simple as that, you'd be doing it. And if you're not doing it, obviously there's a block. I know I'm speaking very matter-of-factly, but for me, it is that matter of fact. If you're serious about your dream, if you're serious about your goal, if you're serious about your outcome that you want to produce as an entrepreneur in network marketing, if you're serious about the outcome, then why wouldn't you say, I'm going to speak to 100,000 people to find my four? I'm going to dedicate the rest of my life to find my four, and I'm going to act like I haven't got long to live. Do you see? Like it's an emergency. How many dozens of people a day will you reach out to? Like literally, why wouldn't you? So either you're not serious enough or you haven't got seriously connected enough to your outcome, to the goals, the dreams, the ambitions. You haven't built a strong enough connection to what's possible. That's one possibility. You don't believe it's possible. Like as much as you show up and say it's possible, there's an incongruency. You say it, but deep down your subconscious does not believe that you can be financially free, you can be financially independent, that you can create a phenomenal outcome in network marketing in the next 12 months. Part of you doesn't believe it, and it's a big part of you. Because if you believed it, if you were clear about the outcome you wanted to manifest or create or produce, if you were clear about it and you believed that you could do it, then why on God's planet would you not be online reaching out to people every single break you got throughout your day? In between, dropping the kids to school, making them breakfast, on the way to work, coffee break, lunch break, tea break, on the way home, in between picking up the kids, taking them home, feeding them, in between all of that, in between putting them to bed and getting yourself to bed, like every single moment. And I can only say that because that's how I am. So when I relate to me, when I started out, I was very clear that I was worth way more than I'd ever produced. I'd produced a lot already before I got into network marketing, but I was clear whatever I produced was nothing compared to what I was capable of producing. And that's kind of been an always and forever thought of mine. Like I don't have an end game as far as a number goes. What I have is playing the game of life to the best of my ability to produce whatever magical numbers are produced out of being in constant and never ending improvement and action. Like it's, for me, such a simple formula. Do you see what I'm saying? It's what I'm saying to you is not like so far-fetched that you can't relate to it, I'm sure. When you've wanted something in your life bad enough, you've done all of those things. You've obsessed. You've robbed yourself of sleep. You've gotten up earlier than you normally get up. You've sacrificed hobbies and TV time or relationship time or whatever it is. You've made sacrifices in your life to get stuff done that was important enough to you to get done. So then you just got to look at what's missing here. That's all. If you're not doing that, if you're not obsessing, if you're not in all out massive action mode, if you're not reaching out to every person on the planet every moment you get, why not? Either the outcome is not inspiring enough or not believable enough. So work that stuff out. That's why everyone will say that you got to have, you got to have a clear idea of where you're going. Zig Ziglar used to say it beautifully. You can either be a meaningful specific or a wandering generality. Most people spend their entire life being a wandering generality rather than a meaningful specific. What a powerful concept. Get clear. Who are you? What do you stand for? What are you up for? What are you ready for? What are you about to create? What do you want? And then it just makes the path clearer for you, because the path is in your mind, right? The journey is in the mind, which reminds me, I've got to share this. Went to a cafe a couple of days ago, and I've only been there once before, and I went back again a couple of days ago. And I loved it. It's just one of these most beautiful, unique cafes. It's like you step in and you think you're in the middle of a Bali or somewhere like that. They've created this beautiful environment. And the cafe says, it's called Seva, which in Hinduism, Seva means service, to serve, Seva. And then the strap line is, you are the journey. Wow. Stunning. You are the journey. You're not on a journey. See, everyone thinks they're on a journey. You're not on a journey. You are. Just get that. Contemplate that for a second. You are the journey. Every single thing. You are it. You are that. The good, the bad, and the ugly. Everything you experience is who you are. You're not going through anything. You just are that. So who are you? Who are you being? I see John there with his little baby. What a beautiful being right there. He's being dancing dad. So who are you, right? And then when you relate to yourself as that, what's possible? Everyone will tell you all of the limitations are in you, in your head. Mental limitations, right? And it's beautiful because it's not like that means you're always perfect. Again, there's so many misconceptions about how this stuff works. Once you know who you are, that doesn't mean that that's how you behave all the time. I mean, you can, but that's a journey in itself. And there are, a point something percent of the planet that ever gets to that point. And they're the people that everybody talks about forever. All right. The spiritual masters of the planet, that they just were like, and even then, me being me, even questions that. Like, I know it's easy to edify somebody, 500 years, 1,000 years, 2,000 years later, 5,000 years later. It's easy to elevate and edify somebody. But were they really that perfect when they were alive? We'll never know. Do you know what I mean? Because we like to idolize. We like to fantasize. It's human to do that, right? Put these perfect images up. And then oftentimes that's why we're so disempowered, because we think that perfection is the goal, and it's not. The goal is to be the best version of yourself as often as you can in every scenario as the scenario shows up. And you're always, always, always going to be going from one point to the next, to the next, to the next, to the next. And it's back and forth, oscillating. Because that's where you're growing, you're learning, you're developing. All right. So it's up, down, backwards, forwards, yo-yoing about, and finding your upward flow in the ups and the downs. You never get rid of the ups and the downs. But what we can do is pretty much like anything, is handle the ups and downs better so that you are moving in a direction of your choosing. And whether that's a upward or forward direction, or a downward or backward direction. Every choice, every conversation, every decision, every action, all of that stuff, right? It's a combination of all of it. The thoughts that you create, the way that they make you feel, the actions you take as a result, and the results that you produce, how you relate to those results, your feedback loop, how that works for you or against you, and how that decides what happens next, etc., etc., etc. And if I think of times in my life when I'm not my best ally, then are moving backwards or downwards in a spiral direction. Doesn't take long to get sucked into that. And at the same time, it takes just as much time and energy to turn that around and realize the direction you're taking yourself in. You are the journey. Take yourself in a different direction. Shift it into different gear. So notice the patterns of thinking and behavior that take you in the direction you don't want to go in, nip them in the bud, and then move in the opposite direction. Have your moment. That's the beauty of being human. You can have your moment, but don't let your moment turn into a permanence. The more temporary you can make everything, the more flexible you become. So, practice making all of those things temporary. One of the things I often talk about, there's no such thing as rejection, right? It's a word that we've learned somewhere along the way, because when we were a little kid, our parents said no, and then our teacher said no, and then our, first crush said no, and then our first love said no, and then blah, 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 blah. Yeah. And we start relating to these things as rejection. So we have to undo all of that mess. None of it's personal. It's all temporal. It was just in that moment. It's cool. Every single human being on the planet has that, or their version of it. So it's not rejection. It's just an experience. Just because we didn't enjoy the experience, just because we didn't want that experience, doesn't mean that it was our fault or that it's the only way. So just enjoy the experience, good, bad, and ugly. So that's what I mean. Like when it's not going the way you want it to, just notice that, be there for a bit, kick and scream, have a tantrum. That's what you got to do. And then as quickly as you can, do something else with it and move yourself back in the opposite direction, or the direction that you want to go in. Take a deep breath, or few. Have some anchors like that. What do you do to shake it off? For me, it's like deep breaths, right? When I'm feeling tense and feeling all the nonsense and the noise is getting a bit much, just do that a few times a day. If you're hanging around me long enough, you'll see I'll just have a moment where my head's getting a bit full. I have a massive capacity. My pain threshold is immense, because being an entrepreneur and self-made, if you like, and self-fulfilling, I can carry a lot more than a lot of people because of the practice, right? I've been through tons of extremes on purpose, right? I'm not talking about the extremes that happen anyway. I have purposefully put myself through extreme situations. In my earlier years as an adrenaline junkie, I've gone out there and searched for stressful situations, high adrenaline things. I've pushed myself to limits that most humans won't, just so that I know those things. And so as a result, when you've experienced extremities, your threshold naturally expands, because you think, God, if I've done that, then that's nothing. If I got through that, that's nothing. If I survived that, this is nothing. So, you build up references where you can handle, way, way more than you're handling. The reason a lot of people break down when they have a moment is because they've never pushed themselves beyond a certain point. So when they get pushed to that point, their world falls apart because it's unrecognizable, there's no reference, and they're done. It gets the better of them. So that's why I'm always, encouraging people, push your boundaries, go to the extremes, do things. I'll give you an example. Recently, I said that I was going to do a 1-week water fast, and I had so many messages from people that were encouraging me. But I equally had messages from people that were saying it's dangerous, and have you done enough homework on this? And there's, you're going to deprive yourself of this and that, and the impact of that is irreversible, and all sorts of the opposite as well, right? You get all of that as well. But guess what? The way I figured it, I have read about enough people that have done 30 days and 60 days and 90-day water fasts. And this time I learned of somebody that did 151-day water fast. So I'm like, listen, little old me with no experience can handle 7 days without worrying about all the noise that everyone throws at me that's supposed to put me in a state of fear and, oh my God, what am I doing? Should I do? No. All the stories we make up. Now, did I manage 7 days? No. Could I have? Yes. And when I look back, I'm thinking, what a muppet. I threw the towel in at day 5 and then have spent the last few days saying, right, now I've got to plan my next one. And guess what? Because I threw the towel in day 5, I've got to do another 7 days. Had I just hung around an extra couple of days, I would have done it. Can you see the difference? So I manifested my own lengthening of the process instead of just getting it done. So, it was easy to throw the towel in. And I did it consciously. And I was like, okay, I'm done. I'm glad I did this and that's enough. But right now, my body's throwing a tantrum and I'm just going to satisfy the body to not throw a tantrum. But that's even made me more determined now to say, no, sod that. That's not that. I'm not committed to that little voice that got the better of me. Let me take it on again. And so I'm looking at the end of this month, having round 2 and knocking out that 7-day water fast. Are you with me? Because that's just who I am. I just need to, if I say I'm going to do something, then there's something inside me that says I have to do it. And so I will. It's the same thing in business. I just have to. If I do it, I have to do it properly to the best of my ability with everything I've got, max capacity. Do you see? Most people do not treat business that way. It's a hobby. And as you've all heard it said, I'm sure, if you treat it like a hobby, it pays like a hobby. And to my knowledge, most hobbies don't pay, which is why they're called hobbies, right? People do them for free. So if you treat your business like a hobby, it will pay you like a hobby. And if you don't want to be paid like it's a hobby, then treat it like a business. Get serious. Put in some uncomfortableness around it. Make some sacrifices, make some changes, push the boundaries, do things that you haven't done before that are unfamiliar, uncomfortable, because that's where you're going to grow. And that's where you're going to realize that you are way more capable, way more capable than you knew. But you only know that when you push the boundaries. If you've only ever made 3 calls a day, you think that's your limit. You think that's the breakthrough. You think that's who you are. And yet all it is that's all you've ever done. Who you are is not what you've done. Who you are is far more than anything you'll ever do. Just get that. Who you are is far more than anything you will ever do. So then why fear doing anything? If you're far more than anything you'll ever do, goodness, do more. Do you see? Just do more of everything. You're capable. Your mind will play games. It will hold you back, play tricks. What about this? What about that? What are they going to think? What are they going to say? What if this? What if that? All of that stuff happens. What if it doesn't work again? All of that stuff, everything's going to come up. And that's what you're dealing with. That's the stuff you've got to get past. And then you've got to find your upward swing. What if it doesn't work? What if it fails again? What if they laugh at me? What if they curse me out? What if they ignore me? What if they block me? What if they all of that? And then you've got to find the other side of it. So really give yourself the room to be more, rather than limiting yourself by your past. So I hope that's been powerful and enjoyable at the same time. And you've got some value that you can take away and apply and improve your game, take yourself to the next level and build your empire. I'm going to offer anyone in the room that wants to share some feedback from this particular session or relate experiences that you've already had, or make some declarations or commitments to yourself going forward. If you want to do any of that, always give a few minutes at the end for people to come and interact and add value and share with the community. So if you want to do that, feel free to raise your hand, and I'd love to hear from anyone that wants to share something. If that's you, you've got a moment to do it. Da-da-da-da. And it looks like not today, so that's cool. Well, look, thank you, everyone. I hope, oh, there's a wavy hand. Oh, we lose John.
Is it picking up?
Hey, how we doing, buddy? Yes, it is. Hiya.
Yeah. My girlfriend's just come back, and I think her phone would have connected to me Wi-Fi.
Oh,
But anyway,
okay.
let me try turning that back on. So you've got another future network marketing genius that you're teaching.
I know. The youngest networker.
Who's this? Who's
On
that?
it.
Yeah. Anyway, no, it really hit home today, this, because I've done skydiving, I've done 7-day fasts, I've done all sorts, been traveling. We travel as a family now, and we've just been 7.5 weeks around Bulgaria with, she's 6 months tomorrow, and she was 10 months old when we went traveling. So it's like we do stuff that nobody would ever think of doing, and I'm going to do the 7-day fast for you as well. So because I did a 7-day at the beginning of the year, so I'll do that with you, and you will do 7 days then. So I'm up for that. But it's just like I've had a really tough sort of week to 10 days of people. I was doing 2 a week, no problem, for weeks and weeks and weeks and weeks, and all of a sudden it's dried up. And it's like everybody, nobody's interested. It's like, oh God, is he still going on, sort of thing. And but even the people that don't know me, and it's like, where am I going? So, but then today it's like somebody got in contact with me, said, right, I'm ready, I'm going to sort it, and he sorted it straight away. And then somebody else is speaking to me, and all of a sudden it starts ticking again. Because I didn't see it as a problem. I just sort of thought of, it's just the way that the universe provides the ups and downs, because there's no straight lines in life.
No.
Like a river, and it's all over, and it's never an easy day. It's never easy. So it's you just got to just realize that those days where those days where the hardest days, where people aren't just jumping to you, sort of thing, that's where you really start to step in and just think, right, good, another no, there's only 9 more to go today, nice one. Or this is just another, or the person that says yes, definitely I'm going to join, then don't take it soul, because it could be another 3 weeks of nows, because the only time is this present moment. So but with, you mean, your little mind's taking it all in, isn't it? And she's so happy. Yes,
she's beautiful.
and
Little smiley baby.
And we're from where we are, because I'm literally, we stay in a caravan down there on a friend's site, and this is what we get to wake up to every day. Beautiful weather. And then we're going down to Dorset, staying on that massive estate in Dorset at the end of this month.
Amazing.
We're going to find out on Friday if we can or not, but you know what I mean, in like a converted old horse box, and we're going to live in that for probably a year. And it's just the amazing lies that are just, right near there's a famous place in Dorset, and we're like 10 minutes away from it, and stuff like this. It's like, it's gonna, none of this normal stuff. It's but so
you imagine,
anyway,
she's going to grow up with experiences that 99% of the planet have never had.
Yeah, that's it. So just be traveling. But back on course, I've had a really tough week of self head stirs. Let's just put it that way, a nice way of saying it.
Yeah.
And it's been difficult. And I've been like, why am I bothering? I need to go and get a job. I need to go and do this. No, I don't. Because I'm a network marketer, and I love doing what I'm doing, because it's helping people. It's not for me. It's for helping people on something where only my chosen route of network marketing is where there's only 4 or 5% of the world that are in it. If that didn't break up at all then. So with it, so it's like, it's helping the world with the new financial system, because this isn't going anywhere. It's going to only get bigger. And the more people I get to speak to, the better. So thank you.
Beautiful. Thank you. Always appreciate you coming and sharing, John. It's an absolute pleasure. And thank you for being, again, always willing to contribute to the community. Love you, brother. Thank you.
Well, thank you.
Narsimaji. Good evening.
Good evening, sir. Good evening.
Good evening. How are you?
I am fine, sir. How are you, sir?
Good. Wonderful.
Thank you. Thank you very much, sir. Sir, actually, every person, every day, learn something from Guru, like you.
Oh, good.
Whatever we learn, we teach somebody.
Yes.
Automatically, the experience will gain. The experience no one cannot buy.
Exactly.
That is the most important.
Yeah, you can't buy experience.
Yes,
Absolutely
that is the
true.
crores and crores of value. But the leaders cannot understand what is the reality of why nut and bolts Kalpesh Patel every week they are conducting. Why we are simply only 25-30 members? It is not a big thing, sir.
Yes, I know.
Actually, the people really understand. The leaders really understand. It will within a month. It will go to 300. Within 3 months, it will go to 3,000 also. The people's not realizing, not thinking. That is the most important, sir.
So again, absolutely. So when we all take collective responsibility,
Yes,
then the numbers start to increase. Of course, it's natural. So, keeping an
Sure.
eye on that, like that's, in fact, we could turn that into a game. Your measure of how actively you're sharing anything is share nuts and bolts first as the
Correct.
introduction into what are you about, what are you up to. Don't
Yes.
talk about the business, bring them here first, let them learn some good, solid personal development. And that way, naturally, this community grows anyway. And then you can take them onto your business presentation afterwards to build your
Yes.
business. So yeah, let's all commit to building this, because for me, nothing would please me more than to have 100 people or 500
Yes.
people.
Correct.
And I'll still do it when there's 30 people, because we still get to share and contribute and make a difference to whoever's here.
Yes.
But for sure, let's all commit to playing a bigger game, even for the nuts and bolts. Thank you so much.
Thank you very much, sir.
Martin, you're up next, buddy. Hey.
Hello, Kalpesh. Hello, everyone.
How we
It's
doing?
a great evening. Just got the nuts and bolts reminder just a few minutes before. I was in one of my doldrums. It's been a tough week, like John. So this was a great evening, and sent the link out to a few people quickly, and guess what? Nearly all of them come on.
Wow.
So they're committed to learning from the Master Blaster. I call you the Master Blaster. Is that okay?
Absolutely.
So I remember reading one of Kalpesh's Facebook posts probably about 9 months ago, or maybe a year ago, and he put up about Zoom calls, 7 Zooms, 7 days a week, and do it 7 times. So that's 49 times 7. And how many people do you want on the call? Probably 7. So imagine the amount of people that Kalpesh, once he's on fire, reaches out to, just half a dozen friends. So that's 7 people on a call. And the next call is another 7. And he does that 7 times a day, 7 days a week. And we wonder why he's successful. We shouldn't be wondering why. We should be following what Kalpesh is teaching, because I've just, the last couple of days, I've started reacting with Zooms, getting Zooms and getting asked to do Zooms. And guess what? You get results.
Yeah.
Simple as that. You get results.
Fantastic.
So just do it. Yeah.
Beautiful.
Just do
Love
it.
it. Well done.
Thanks, mate.
And
thanks, Kalpesh.
Yeah, thank you.
By
Thank
the
you for
way,
sharing that. Yeah.
what you just said is very, very important. Get them on nuts and bolts. Get the basics first.
Yeah.
And boy, oh boy, we don't get stuck in the mud then, do we?
Exactly, right? Because it is such a beautiful industry. Let's tell them what the industry is about first, and then they're going to be excited about whatever you show them next, right? So brilliant. Let's use this as the platform to build our empires. Thank you.
Cheers, mate.
No, Martin, thank you so much. And each and every one of you, I appreciate you being here. Thank you for coming here and receiving whatever you were here to receive. And let's go forth and multiply. We're back here next week, same time, same place, same link. And bring your people, let them come and learn with you. And again, it really is so much more fun when your immediate circle is singing the same hymn sheet as you, singing the same songs, understands the vocabulary, the language, the thinking, the context, then your journey becomes more fun and enjoyable as well. So get them all there next Wednesday. See you then. 300 of us, right, Nasimaji? Next Wednesday, 300. Bye for now. Thank you.